Alright guys, haven't made one in a few days. Got a after hours with Mgdob. I was digging around, we've been cleaning up the shop, and I found my old Miata spare. Thing's still got the nipples on it. I'm going to clean this thing up a little bit while I talk. Inside looks a little rough. Had a plastic cover on it, but it was rotted. I doubt I'll ever throw this in the car. I kind of like the idea of having it there just for the hell of it. But see what that thing looks like. Just got an old raggedy, I use this old raggedy applicator for crap like this that I don't really care about. I got nice ones I use for the car. Yeah, I've been scrubbing on this thing. It's cleaning up a little. I need some good cleaner wax. I just don't have any right now. And I know this thing will never look like new again. Oh, I got a new story for you, for the dirty old man. He told me a new one, and it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna try to paint a picture for you. He's got this Chinese Harley, is what I call it. It looks like a Harley. It's a little bit smaller and cheaper looking. It's a 250cc, but it's all chromed out, and you know, someone who didn't know something about motorcycles might think it was a Harley until they really got to looking at it. It's not a bad looking bike, but you can tell what it is. And his van's down, so he's been driving it everywhere he goes. Well, he had one of his black prostitutes over the, well, he calls them his friends. Let's say his friend over, and he was feeding her some dinner. He had a microphone, a speaker sitting there. I'm trying to remember this thing. He had a speaker sitting there in his living room. It was for a guitar amp or something. And the spoon was laying on it, and it had become magnetized. Well, old girl, she went to eat some soup, and she used that spoon, and I don't know, I'm assuming they washed it, you know, I don't know what went on over there. And it stuck to her tongue ring. And yes, I don't know the specifics to that, because I know, you know, different types of metals, yada, 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 it's not going to stick. But according to him, and he's usually pretty honest with these stories, he will exaggerate them a little bit. So we'll put it this way. Something did happen to her with the spoon. Whether it stuck like really bad or what, who knows. But she freaked out. And I'm sure she might have been intoxicated, or, you know, she might have had some bad weed or something, who knows. But she freaked out and was scared to try to remove the spoon from her mouth. So he had to take her to the emergency room. So if you can imagine, he's driving this prostitute down the highway on his Chinese Harley. About a 70-year-old man. And she's on the back with a spoon hanging out of her mouth to the ER. I'm sure that was a hell of a sight once they got there. I don't know nothing about that part of it. I know that the spoon got stuck in there, and he had to take her to the emergency room on the little Chinese Harley. And that's about as much of the story as I know. Amuses the hell out of me. I wish you could see this guy, or he would tell the story himself, but he won't. All right. Get off of the subject of him, old dirty man. He does have some fun in his life, I guess. It's always entertaining. Clean up this rim. And yeah, what I'm doing here is pretty much pointless. I'm just bored. I was working on this Corvette in here. I'll probably show a little clip of it. And I've got it checked out, find out it needs a power steering rack. So I'll have to find out about getting one of them and all that good stuff. My car, I'm just disgusted with my car. I'm happy with the power it's making, but I'm just disgusted. I'm kind of ill with the tuner. At the beginning, I was fine, but all this week it's been just playing on my mind. You know, he had that car for 3 or 4 hours, which I was in there while he was doing it. And I left with a little bit more horsepower than I went. I went in with like 292. I left with, I'm really not sure what he set it at. I know he got a maximum of 310 out of it with it not running right. That's the part I'm ill about. I don't know if he set it at 310, 306. We had different numbers. We went all the way from 292 to 310. So I don't know what he left it at, because I'm sure he set it at, I'm kind of leaning towards the 306 one, but one of the numbers where it would ran better. But what I'm aggravated about is I left with really no information on the car, whether I needed to, vacuum leak, if I have a problem with my Mega Squirt, my distributor, or something. I know that I've got a timing or spark plug gap issue. He told me that, but he was in a hurry, I think, to work on his own car. It was a Saturday, and he was talking about putting cylinder heads on his turbo Mustang, and I think he just my car was being aggravating, and he finally said to heck with it. I got to get on, it's getting late, and work on my car. And it annoys me because I don't know, the only other place I know of in town is National Speed. And I'm sure, because I'm going to need another dyno tune after I'm changing my engine up. I'm already in the plans of figuring everything out. So I'm going to have to go somewhere to get it tuned, and I think it'll cost twice as much. But maybe I'll know something about my car when I leave. It's got me worried because I really wanted to go to this guy. He specializes in Mustangs. They have some really cool Mustangs up there. And when I say Mustangs, they got a Mustang drivetrain, everything in the Miata. So, I category it, someone who's an expert on Mustangs as being, just what I need, really. I just got to get him, I don't know. I'm waiting for him to answer my message back on Messenger. That's how I wanted to talk to him, because when he told me what I need to do with my car, I would have it right there so I'd remember it. I could go back and read it. And he hasn't replied. It's kind of annoying me. Not kind of, it's pissing me off. Get it figured out, but this rim short, it's shining up. I know I could clean this up and repaint it and all that. I just wanted to see what the original, I'm assuming this is original because someone may have repainted this thing. I think they did. I see a little bit of red overlapping the sticker. So maybe you Miata guys could tell me, was this thing originally yellow? I see yellow underneath. Maybe it was. I'm about tired of messing with this already. I got my car on my mind, not this tire really. I'm ready to get the car. I mean, it's running good. Well, it's not idling good. Let me change that. It idles good sometimes, sometimes it don't. It's got the famous, if you know anything about Fords, the surge and idle, which every Mustang I've ever had, I've had to fight that. and it's really annoying. Every light you pull up, the cars just roll up and down. And that's one thing I was really, this tune wasn't all about horsepower. I was getting it done because I wanted the car to be safe. So I didn't lean out or anything like that and damage the engine. And I wanted the car to idle good. So I left with the car. I'm assuming it's safe as far as leaning out or whatever. But the car is idling worse now than it was before. And my pocket's lighter than it was before. I need to just build me a new engine and be done with it. I'm really wanting a 363. That or a 331, but hell, if you go spend $3,500 for a 331 short block, might as well go ahead and spend the $5 and get the 363. And you can turn the thing 8,000 RPMs if you want. I'd probably do a build that was to about 7,000, but that would be awesome in that little car. And that's something, even if I stayed with a 302, I'm wanting to get my RPM range up where I can rev it to about 7. I don't really need the low end torque because that car is so lightweight. It'll do great with some high RPM stuff. This thing's shining up. This will just get hung up in the shop here in case I ever have an emergency. I'm not going to put it in the car. I don't ever take that car on long trips anyway. Furthest I took it is the ferry to Southport and then drove from Southport back. And I'm going to do that again. I got a video coming up where I'm going to do some filming and set the cameras up in the car and catch the ferry over to Southport and do some stuff there. Got another scary story coming up too. I'm gonna go and there's a little location I want to go one night. It's secluded, dark, and it's a good spot I think, and it'll make a great video. I'm not gonna tell too much about that, but I've got plans for it, and I'm talking to somebody about doing it with me. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm going to just leave this like it is once I wipe it off. It don't look half bad. I had a buffer over there. I could have hit it and shined it up real good real quick. But I'm just kind of killing some time out here. The back definitely needs some love. I could have sworn I washed this thing off with the water hose out there. I may go back at a later date and sand the back of this just a little bit, not a lot, and maybe spray some rust penetrator on here and rust converter, and then I'll spray it yellow or red, I'm not sure. I just hate to throw it away. The thing looks so, I mean, it's from 1991. The tire still looks brand new on it. I might catch third gear with this tire. Butter. Let me get some, and there's, I wish that would shine up some. Let me give it one more wipe down. It's hard to really scrub this. It's so many different angles. I love waxing stuff and making it shine again. Every car I ever buy, I usually will buy, I used to detail cars, and it'll look like crap to some people, that car, and I'll usually buy it really cheap, but I can see in the paint that the paint is not, now, you know, this, you can tell it's done, but you can still make it look better. But I can see that the paint can be saved on the car. And I'll get them and I'll buff them up, and even take the seats out sometime and shampoo the carpet. I'm thoroughly, like, scrubbing, water, everything, and make it look like new. And it'll get, at least while I own the car, I'll at least get that one good deep clean. And then from there on, I'll just give it average regular old wipe downs and a wax here and there and vacuum. Alright. That's about as good as it's going to get without breaking out a buffer or something, and I'm not doing all that. I'm going to do one more thing to it. Kind of stupid, but I'm going to do it anyway. Just a little Armor All wipe down. I know there's tire shines out there that work much better than this, but this will work for staying in this garage. Make a mess. Should have went and scrubbed this thing. I scrubbed it with a water hose and a brush a while back, but it's got dirty since then. Been planning on doing this to it for a while, just been so busy. Yeah, I know this isn't real professional, and it's not meant to be. This is after hours. I'm just bored, killing time talking to the camera. Doing stupid crap. I'll never use this rim. Let's armor all the inside. Let's see what it looks like. Heck, it's cleaning up fairly good. Got got me a collectible here. So look at that thing, it's right snazzy. All right, we're gonna call this thing. Hold on. I'm this. I want to just really get into this thing here. Get it good and nasty. Let's get it in the tread. Mount it on the car. Do a 5th gear burnout. Put this thing on eBay. I'd like to have about a $10,000 engine, and I know that's not that much, honestly, for a high-end engine, but you can do a lot with 10 grand. Give me about a 600 horsepower, naturally aspirated, and that's what I want to stay. I want to stay NA. If you learned anything from this video, there's one thing you can learn. If you're bored, you don't have nothing to do, the garage is tied up with other junk, you can take your spare tire out and clean it up and wax it up, armor all it. Don't forget to armor all the inside. You'll do it right. Now I'm in a mess here. We're going to call it a night with this. That thing, I'm going to tell you, it looks new. I'm really impressed with how this turned out. I just can't stop looking at it. I might need to mount this in the car. Hang it from the rearview mirror or something. Feel free to drop some offers in the comments. Might give it an extra coat of wax too for you.